Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing. It's Friday night, which can only mean one thing. It's time for the FRR-idays Cup Round 7 in Canada. Or should I more accurately say, at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal in Canada. A fantastic racetrack, which is majority... Okay, spit me words out, Dave. More about top speed than grip, shall we say. So, speed over downforce. Can you tell I'm not really with it today? Anyway, Front Row Racing DP here in the commentary box, and I'm joined by Front Row Racing RI. How are you this evening, Ray?
I'm fine. I thought I'd let you struggle.
Cheers. Thank you very much for that one. Yeah, just sit there and listen to me go. Yeah, it's been one of those days. It really has been one of those days. I mean, we're a little late getting going this evening because I said to Ray when I came online, sorry about that, mate. But I bent down to change the games over and realised, okay, need to go to the bathroom. No, I didn't make a mess, but it was very close. It was one of those moments of bend down, get up, let's go to the toilet. Anyway. Enough of that grossness. We'll save that for later on in the Project Cars races, eh, Ray?
Yeah, after the watershed. After
the watershed, too right. Okay, so for the FRR-idays drivers this evening, or for any of the viewers that are watching, the FRR-idays events it's the feeder series into our F1 leagues at Front Row Racing. The drivers turn up, race. If you race clean and fair, and you do well, the opportunities will be there to go onto the reserve driver list for our main leagues. The World Championship on Wednesdays, no assists. The World Series on Thursdays, assists allowed. So this is where the guys ply their trade, show the guys, the league drivers, what they've got, and if they need a reserve driver, they can pick from them. Okay, we've got Mull Ryan and RMS Maranello, John Rhinos and Twist Royalty, Azamort and It's Hammer Time, Stringy B and F1 Roadrunner, Lefty Hardtail, a new guy this week, and Tyler R2003. RDB is with us again, and let's see, we've got Drew as well. Now, a few more invites have been sent out, but we are going to send the drivers off to the Montreal circuit now, where I must admit I've not had the time to get myself a proper track map up with corner names and all that kind of stuff, but I do know for this circuit, over the years we have named a few corners. The famous Wall of Champions, but we also do have the Wall of Rookies. Excuse me, but I'll point that one out when some of the drivers are out there. So, Ray, have you got any information for us? Because I haven't got any this evening.
No, I haven't got any. It's one of the days, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Usually I'm very, very prepared, but today's one of those days where I'm not. I couldn't get to sleep last night. And then when I did wake up today, it's like, no, I'm not getting up. I'm going back to bed. So anyway, it's time then for the Front Row Racing FRR-idays Cup Round 7 in Montreal. And I tell you what, for lap times, I'd like to be seeing something around the low 13s, possibly quicker. I can't remember exactly the lap times we were doing last season, but are easily doable. So I would expect in the World Championship next week around Canada, if it's dry, to be hitting lap times around that area in the 12s. Now for the weather at the moment, it says it's clear. Clear and dry conditions predicted for the most part. So it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any wet weather, which will please the drivers, but not us, because we like to see a bit of moisture on the circuit, don't we, Ray?
Yes, we like a wee bit of skitterish driving.
That we do. Now, for anyone that's watching that is interested in joining Front Row Racing, the way to do it is find Front Row Racing on Facebook, send us a message, and if it's F1 you wanted to get into, it's these events that you'd be able to take part in. As I mentioned, the FRR-idays Cup events are our feeder series, so we don't do any standings for it. We also don't do any additional stewarding, looking at collisions, ETOs or that kind of thing. It's just drivers come and drive, get on with it, and see how they get on. Okay, we've got a few drivers getting out on track nice and early. I think Millstar is the leading one of them, and he's out on the prime tyre. Quite interesting. Yellow marked tyre being the prime tyre, and the red marked tyre being the option tyre, the super soft. And it will be very interesting to see what Codemasters do with tyre selection for F1 2016. Now, something for us to bear in mind, Ray, and the drivers to bear in mind. I mean, these guys have probably been doing a bit of practice around this track. I know I haven't for our World Championship race yet, but the FIA have brought in the new strict ruling. And this is a track where history would tell you if there's ever going to be corners taken advantage of, it's at this track. So I'm interested to see just how much the drivers struggle with track limits around this circuit. As Millstar's gone through the final chicane, if that was on a hot lap, that would be invalidated. And something the drivers will have to watch out for is taking that line through that chicane, which gives them a faster run to the start-finish line.
Yeah, especially the chicanes. The chicanes are the most inviting ones, especially as we come up to turn 3, I think it is.
Yep.
That one's quite inviting. You see quite a lot of drivers taking advantage of that.
We have done in the past, and I'm sure all the viewers and all of the drivers will know that yes, that is one of the corners, the second or the third chicane as well that Millstar's approaching now. Yes, you want to be right bang on the limits, but you have got to be careful of crossing that white line, because if the game doesn't penalise you and you don't do your ETO lifts in the league races, the league will penalise you. But Millstar though had a fairly clean lap so far, but we'll see how he gets on with the final chicane. That is probably the most difficult chicane on the circuit, because you want to take it at high speed, but you've got to make sure you're on the track. So how does he get on with it? Much better entry, much better exit, nicely done Millstar. And he's going to cross the line. I think it's going to be about 13. No, it's a 14.5, but he is on the prime tyre. John Rhino's crossing the line on the options. It's a 15.5 for him. Twist Royalty's just gone through. Go on, Ray, what have you spotted?
I'm just watching Roadrunner. He's coming over the line and he's second on the prime tyres with a 114. He was the fastest in sector 1, but Millstar's got faster sector 2 and 3.
Okay, now something the viewers may spot, and it's something I have spotted before on the lap time here of RMS Maranello. You can feel free to rewind this bit. Before he got to the start finish line, it was showing his sector times, but his lap time counter was not going up. That's because 3 seconds into his lap he's had the lap invalidated. At the end of his lap it showed the lap time, but it won't have counted. He's now on a better sector 1, because it's going to count at the moment. See how he gets on through the third chicane, nicely through there, a little bit of a wiggle on the exit, but comfortably on the power again. And this is a track where temperature can have a big effect. Tyre wear is not too aggressive, but it's one of those where you need the high speed, but you do need some grip in the car. As the Ferrari moves nicely out of the way for him into the DRS zone, open that flap, take it to as high a speed as it will go, and then be brave into the final chicane, or be brave straight into the pits. There's a different way to do it. See, just what I was mentioning, Stringy B here, 15 seconds, his lap time's not counting, that's his lap showing that it has been invalidated. Tyler also with one invalidated. We'll see a lot of that. If there's ever a race where we could see a number of drivers possibly disqualified for excessive off-track moments, this could be one of them. RDB is on a flyer though, on the prime tyre. His timer is still ticking.
I was quite deep into the hairpin then.
So probably cost himself a little bit of time at the hairpin. Is he going to finish this lap? He's on the brakes early enough to go for the final chicane. His car's looking a little bit out of shape and almost sounds like he's out of fuel. He'll be wishing he'd have gone and chucked it into the pits on that one, I reckon. We're putting over to let the car go. That is hammer time, also with an invalidated lap. Oh, and a lot of lag. It's hammer time. If you are watching the broadcast, do us a favour, turn it off. It'll help your connection. Millstar is continuing on. He's still on pole position on the prime tyre. He's had his most recent lap invalidated, but can continue on for another one. That could be another invalidated lap there, though. Oh, it looks like he may have just got away with that one. But that's where he would have to do an ETO lift in a league race.
I'm just watching Drone after the third chicane. He went through turns 2 seconds to get my trap. I put 6 and 7. He hit the wall a wee bit, so I don't think he's got any damage though.
Well, the exit of turn 7 is a wall that you can clip a bit and get away with it. You do kind of want to take the car out to the walls. I mean, this circuit is nothing like Monaco in the nature of... oh, Drew, that's not very good there, my friend. Yeah, it's nothing like Monaco in its nature of level of speed and amount of corners, but it is similar to Monaco in that there is walls at the side of the track. You do want to get up close to them in places where you can, as long as you don't hit them too hard. Twist Royalty's just gone and put himself on pole position with a 14.3, but I would expect those lap times to come down by at least another second from a few of the drivers, as Twist Royalty makes his way over, getting very close to the wall there, and that's the wall we nicknamed the Wall of Rookies. So we'll see who ends up into that barrier today. Although for the FRR-idays events, damage is turned off. Some people aren't a huge fan of that. They like to see the crashes and the carnage. So do we. But experience told us last season that what was happening was we have a very different level of ability in the FRR-idays events, and sometimes people's races were being accidentally ruined by losing front wings because of being hit and things like that. So it's better for the drivers when they've put a bit of time and effort in to be able to actually race in the race. So if accidents do happen, yes, it's not good, but at least it's not going to be a race ender for anyone. Now Millstar, he's continuing on. He's now down to 3rd place, which means Twist Royalty is down to 2nd. Lefty Hardtail has gone and put himself on pole position at the moment. Continuing on for another lap. It's a 14.2 he's done. As I mentioned before we got over to the circuit, Lefty Hardtail is a new driver to FRR-idays this week. I believe he's a friend of RDB's, and he's heading into the pits. Oh, and into the barrier. Interesting one, that. Now doing many multiple turns. I'd just back it up a bit more on that one if I was you. Bit of an odd one, that. Okay, let's have a quick look at the timing screen. So RDB has got the fastest Sector 2 at the moment, just ahead of Millstar. Twist Royalty's got fastest Sector 1, with Drew having the fastest Sector 3. Let's see, is there anyone that hasn't set a time yet? Mulrine hasn't set a time yet. He's on an out lap. It's Hammer Time is on a flying lap now. 21.5 Sector 1, which should be pretty good. It is. It's the fastest so far. Let's see how his Sector 2 is, a 23.5. That's not too shabby either. His car is still sliding about a little bit, showing that there's a bit of poor connection there. And one of the things that we would say to drivers, if we do see their cars lagging about a little bit, if you are using your PlayStation 4 wirelessly, it's worth having a look and getting yourself an Ethernet cable. It did look like his Hammer Time took too much curve on the final chicane, but it's difficult to know for sure with his car moving about all over the place, and it's a 13.6 for him. But with his car doing things like this, he is going to have to do everything he can to improve that. Tyler was on a flyer, but his lap has been invalidated. And as I said, we will see a lot of invalidations. I tell you what, Ray, we're about halfway, just over halfway through the session. Could you just have a look at the race director, and it should tell you on there just how many drivers have had invalidated laps already, because I bet there's quite a few.
Yep, I will do it.
Okay, F1 Roadrunner is on an out lap at the moment. Got a few cars ahead of him, and this is a circuit as well where it is quite a long track, but it's very easy to find yourself in a bit of traffic. And what you've got to be careful of is when you back off to give them room, like Roadrunner has here, that your tyres don't get too cold. A little bit of tyre warming down this straight would not be a bad idea, because if he goes flat out at the final chicane, he may find his brakes aren't absolutely where he wants them to be, or for turn 1, but he's looking okay at the moment. Perhaps work the temperatures up quite nicely early on. Taking a wide start to the lap into turn 1, get it pulled in for turn 2. Tricky little corner, this one. Don't let the rear end step out. Now we're heading up to turns 3 and 4, the first of the real chicanes. Taking a very wide entry, it's going to cost him a bit of lap time now, up close to the wall of rookies. Now into a tricky little chicane, get on that apex curb. Braking late here, costs you all the way through the corner, but he's gone through quite nice. Let it run out close to the wall, that's the fastest way out of that corner. Now into turns 8 and 9. Be confident on the brakes, turn it in on the curb. Avoid the second curb if you can, it can spin you, and then hard on the power. Now get ready to bang on those brakes for the hairpin. Try not locking it up, get it pulled in towards the apex, on the power, be confident, and then it's all about top line speed to the final chicane. He's had a good run of it so far, a 21.5 sector 1, a 23.6 sector 2, 10th down in sector 2 on its hammer time. We'll see how he gets on through the final chicane. Early on those brakes, plenty of curb, nicely through the corners, nowhere near the wall of champions, takes the tighter line to the finish line, and it'll be a 14.0. It's only 3rd place.
There's 33 laps been invalidated.
For anyone that didn't hear that properly, that's 33 laps that have been invalidated, and I'm not surprised by that. I mean, this is it's not the easiest of circuits. It comes across as being a very, very easy track, but it's also a track where, as we mentioned early on, drivers will have found, like Drew here, could have taken that line through that particular corner. He can't anymore. He is off the track. There's nothing against Drew that I'm saying this, but he's way off the track. The white lines do mark the edge of the circuit, as he's pointing out here. He's not really pointing it out, but it helps for me. Yeah, the white lines mark the edge of the track, not the curbs. Curbs are next to the track, not on the track. John Rhino's had a very interesting sector 1 time, 22.222. And a sector 2 time of a 24.555. And I wonder if his sector 3 time is going to be a 25.666. No, it's a 29. No, it's not. It's a 28.862. It did look like for a second it was going to be a 29.979, but it did quickly change. Okay, it's hammer times back into the pits with 4 minutes to go. RMS Maranello is up in 2nd place at the moment. He's back out on track on an out lap. I tell you what, Ray, you keep an eye on him and let me know when he's about to start a flying lap, or at least keep an eye on him and let us know what his sector times are, as Lefty Hardtail is about to start another flying lap. Could do with finding a bit of time in sector 1 and 2. Has had a few laps invalidated by the looks of things. So let's see how he gets on this time. Get it into turn 1. Patient for turn 2, but early on the power. Once you've got the power down, it can handle it, floor it, and then we'll go for turns 3 and 4. Nice entry. Bit cautious on the power through the corner, but this is one of the things. Drivers end up with a lot of invalidated lap times. They kind of end up in that situation of, you know what? I'm going to have to be more cautious because I'm going off the track. I'm not getting my lap times in. Haven't really got much choice. 21.7 sector 1.
RMS Maranello, he took a wee bit too much curb for the last chicane onto the start finish straight, but he's done a 21.4 for sector.
So sector 1 pretty good for him then. Lefty Hardtails is a 23.9 at sector 2, about 4 or 5 tenths down on its hammer times, I think it is. See how he gets on the final chicane. Nice entry, gets close-ish to the wall of champions, and taking a wide entry, now a tight entry to the finish line, and it's a 14.8, still only in 4th place.
Sector time was a 23.189. RMS
Maranello, yeah, it's a good second sector, it's a good first sector, could be a new pole position time here. 28.4 sector 3, no, he's done a 13.3, but he hasn't gone faster than It's Hammer Time, whose lap times are 13.272, and Maranello's done a 3.73. Now, It's Hammer Time's about to start a flying lap, but I tell you what, Ray, Millstar was running the prime tyres for a while. He's now back out on the options, so if you want to keep a quick eye on him, as It's Hammer Time's heading up towards the final chicane, getting ready to start his final lap. Taking a bit too much curb through that final chicane again. As it is something the drivers will have to watch out for, because there will be tracks on the F1 calendar where in league races the FRR stewards will say, well, hang on a minute, the way you've taken the final corner that leads onto the lap is giving you an advantage of speed, so they could apply a penalty for it. This is one of those tracks where the drivers will have to be careful of that kind of thing. Sector 1, what's it going to be? A 21.3, that's pretty good. It's better than RMS Maranello did, but Millstar's retired from the session, so you're going to have to find someone else to watch, Ray.
I'm on Tyler R2003.
Okay.
Well, I hope that's his. I hope that's the year he's talking about.
I hope that's not the year he was born. If that's the year he was born, then that's just going to make me feel really old. I mean, I was born in the 1980s. It's bad enough when people say I was born in the 1990s, but for someone to go, hey, I was born in the 2000s, oh my days. Anyway, It's Hammer Time, Sector 2, a 23.3, not as good as RMS Maranello, but what's his final sector time going to be? Difficult to see exactly where he was positioning his car there, but up to the finish improvement. No, it's a 13.3. And he has been bumped off pole position by RMS Maranello. He's continued on for another lap. I should have carried on watching him. He's gone and popped it on pole with a 13.0, the time gained in the second sector.
Big cut for Tyler at the last chicane.
And we've now been kicked from the pit lane up into the commentary box. Spotting Stringy B here for the first time on our cameras, so apologies for that, Stringy B. We're currently sat in 13th place. It would be nice if it still showed sector times on the broadcast view. It would be absolutely brilliant, that one, Codemasters. Oh, way too much chicane for him through the final corner. That'll be lap invalidated, or at least it should be. That could be why he's still down in 13th place. It is something that the drivers will have to be very careful of when it gets into the race, because if they are having a lot of invalidated laps in qualifying, there's only so many times the clerks of the course will allow you to receive warnings or penalties before they go, okay, you know what, that's a few too many, have a disqualification.
First place.
It's Hammer Time must have gone on for another lap then. I mean,
I didn't get to see the lap time or anything.
Oh, Tyler's all over the place with a big crash, big crash into the final chicane. I will say, I mean, I don't know what was happening to his car in the pit lane a little earlier on, but let's hope we don't see any of that kind of action in the race, because that's the kind of stuff, I mean, he may have just had a problem, but that's the kind of stuff that is going to get you receiving no further invites. You do have to make sure that you are racing clean, racing fair. Accidents will happen. And his car's just reappeared on the start-finish straight. So his Hammer Time did continue on for another lap then, as did RMS Maranello. So those two will lock out the front row of the grid, with F1 Roadrunner in third place, Lefty Hardtail in fourth, Millstar fifth, Tyler sixth, Twist Royalty seventh, Mulryan in eighth, Drew in ninth, RDB only in 10th but on the prime tyre, Azamore in 11th, John Rhinos in 12th, Stringy B in 13th. If we have a look at the race director, we'll see all of these invalidated laps that Ray was on about. There's a lot of them. This is assigned to this is assigned to the World Championship and World Series drivers. Make sure you're practicing keeping it on the tarmac.
That was way more than 33.
Oh yes. Now, one of the things that I will say for the benefit of any of the viewers is, excuse me, I know on occasion some people have said that the front row racing ETL rules are ridiculous. Let's put it this way. In our main league races, nobody has been disqualified yet for corner cutting penalties. Now, some people could say that it's because the drivers aren't pushing enough. Trust me, they are. It's just that they've had 2 or 3 seasons of keep it on the road, guys. Keep it on the road, guys. Then when the new FIA strict ruling comes out, you know what? We haven't really got a problem with people getting disqualified. The FRR-idays, we always expect that people are going to be off track a bit. It's part of the process of drivers coming in and realising what's right, what's not. So yeah, I reckon we might see a few disqualifications here, eh? Don't you think?
Possibly. Especially before they invalidate.
Don't go sitting on the fence with a possibly. There will be somebody disqualified for excessive off-track moments. I pretty much guarantee it. You watch it; it won't happen now. But this is where, for the drivers, they can come. They might get a few penalties one week. They come to the next week. They improve. But the lights are on. The drivers are ready. They're going to head off down to turn 1 now. So let's hope they get down there nice and clean with no major dramas. And we'll go and spot them. Somebody is already into the barrier. I'm not sure exactly who that was. It almost looked a bit like a Ferrari, and I think we've got a Ferrari going a little bit sideways. It's Hammer Time is showing as being down in 3rd place at the moment.
Tyler's got a bit of lag, stringy bees.
There's a lot of lag going on in the middle of the field. There's a Red Bull Twist Royalty seems to be lagging about a bit. I wonder if there's been a bit of a jump start on the race here, because Millstar, he's gone from about 6th place. It's showing him as being up in 1st at the moment. There's a lot of lag going on. There is a lot of lag going on. And this is one of the reasons why in the lobby before the race we say to the drivers, guys, make sure you've reloaded your games. If you're going to watch the broadcast, don't. If you've got your internet devices on, anything on, turn them off. Because if damage was on now, you'd be writing people's races off. And it's not what they're looking for. I mean, Millstar is showing as being in 1st place, but he's not. He's not.
He's in 4th.
RMS Maranello is in 1st place at the moment, so that's going to get a little bit confusing.
All over the place.
It is. So for the drivers, I mean, another thing for them to think about as well is if they want to be able to actually race in the league races, they've got to have a good connection, because if their connection isn't good enough, they just won't be given the opportunity to race in the league races, because if situations like that occur where you've got cars lagging all over the place, it's not good. I mean, Stocky is an example in the World Championship last season. When he first joined, he's showing RMS Maranello in 1st place now. When he first joined, his car was lagging about quite a bit. He was given the
calmed down at the front.
It has. RMS Maranello is in 1st. It's Hammer Time is in 2nd. Lefty Hardtail.
The lag.
Yes, the lag has calmed down at the front. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It has calmed down at the front.
Twist Royalty's car then.
Okay, Mulryan's just gone very, very wide at the hairpin. But yeah, as I was saying with Stocky, his connection seemed okay. Then in one of the races, it really, really wasn't. So he was given some advice of how to improve his connection. He took that advice. He was then given a bit more advice. He took that advice, and to be honest, getting himself an Ethernet cable was one of the best things he could have done, because since then, his lag situation has been very, very minimal. Adam 4600 in the World Series had one where his car was all over the place, hitting people left, right and centre. We advised him to get an Ethernet cable. Come the next race, no problems whatsoever. I tell you what, I think it's showing Millstar. I think it was showing Millstar as being a lap ahead, you know. Because he's currently in about 5th place, but he's got 13 above his head. Now, RDB and Drew.
I can't find him.
Yeah, well,
he's 13th.
But he's in about 5th place at the moment, so there's definitely something going on with Millstar's car there. RDB and Drew are having a bit of a battle around about 8th place, with Stringy B in 7th ahead of them. RDB's on the prime tyre, so he'll be happy that he's gained a few places from the start, although with the cars jumping about as much as they were, it's easy to gain places and also easy to lose a lot of places. DRS will now be activated, and as I mentioned earlier on,
Millstar's going for the overtake. Chicane, is he going to hold it? Oh, contact! It spun him.
Yep. Oh, and there's contact slightly further behind, as I think that was RDB that was being overtaken. It wasn't Twist Royalty that was going for the move. It was a car. It was a Sauber. Let's see if we can find out who that was. Drew. It was Drew. They were going for a bit of a move into the final chicane and ended up locking wheels and going straight on. Didn't spin both of the cars, I don't believe, but it has put RDB down in 12th place. RMS Maranello, though, he had a very good race in Monaco last week. Showed that he has got a fair amount of ability. It's hammer time. He's had a few decent races as of late, but he won't want to let RMS Maranello pull out any kind of a gap on him. F1 Roadrunner, 5.5 seconds off the leaders at the moment, with Lefty Hardtail catching up on him, and he's bringing along Mulrine and the second Ferrari along for the ride. And this is a track where slipstream can be oh so powerful, especially if you've got a bit of DRS. And when it comes to the corners, it can be very, very tricky.
I'm just checking the race directors. We've got 1, 2.
Tyler's gained on Lefty Hardtail here. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to go for any kind of a move until the DRS. He's actually having a look at it though, trying to get Lefty out of shape. Hasn't quite worked for him. Now, although these guys are in the same car, it doesn't mean that they are teammates in the FRR-idays. There are no teammates. It's basically everyone racing for themselves. So there'll be no team orders between these two.
There's 15 penalties for corner cutting already in lap 5.
On lap 5. Now, a few of those could be from lag situations, so some of them may not quite be correct, but it'll be interesting to see if that continues throughout the race. But if there's 15 already, by lap 5, that's on average 3 per lap. There's definitely going to be somebody getting disqualified from this race. Now, is Lefty close enough? Lefty's actually been passed by Tyler while you were talking there, Ray. I missed it. I wasn't really focusing. Sorry. That's alright. Mulrine closing up a little bit behind them. Have we got a bit of a battle going on a little bit further back? Stringy's in 7th. Twist Royalty's in 8th with Millstar, which should be saying 9th behind him, but it's showing as being in 13th place.
Hammer time's catching up, and RMS Maranello is a 10th behind, if I've read that right.
Yep, he is only a 10th behind, so he'll be within DRS range, but I do think he's just given the wall a little bit of a tapping there. But he will be within DRS range. Oh yeah, just a little wee...
A wee love kiss.
A little peck. A little peck on the cheek. DRS will be available, but he's not really gaining at the moment by the looks of things. But RMS Maranello, he'll know what he's doing around this particular track. He won't be getting flustered by its hammer time, trying to close that gap up. 6 laps into the race, and to be honest, I wouldn't expect to see anybody getting rid of the option tyres until at least laps 8 to 10. The option tyres do last very, very nicely around this track and can probably go for many more laps than you might realise. F1 Roadrunner in 3rd place. Tyler still under attack by Lefty Hardtail in 5th place.
Three wee battles, play 7 players, Twist Royalty, Stringy B, Twist Royalty, and
Millstar.
Is it Millstar? I can't
see. It is, yeah, it's Millstar. But Twist Royalty's just had a bit of a wiggly moment. That's allowing Millstar to get himself into position to possibly attack. Decides against it though, perhaps taking a little bit too much curb in the process. Run a little wide, get in and tuck into that slipstream. Overtaken into turns 8 and 9. Not the best of places to go for a move, but you can try and get the other car out of shape a little bit. But to be honest, you don't really want to be ahead when you get to the hairpin, because you want the DRS. Ideally, you just want to be really, really close. There's the DRS detection. DRS detection is coming up. You can see the white line there. So be close. So at this point, you can open that wing and try and make a move. Now, I think Yep, there has.
First.
Yep, he's just made a move with DRS down into first place, first corner, I believe. But this is where for Maranello now, he doesn't need to push, he just needs to follow him. He's got a choice of going for an undercut or just stay nice and close, and then he can, oh no, he can just chuck it up the inside and make the move. That's one way to do it, but he has potentially now gifted It's Hammer Time DRS towards the end of the lap. That's one where I think for myself personally, I'd have just waited for this lap, stayed behind him, let him get to the hairpin thinking he's okay, and then blast past him with DRS. But it's Hammer Time now, making sure he's close through the hairpin. Goes for a wider line to try and get the grip. He's close enough. He'll have this move done either into the final corners or into turn one. Maranello going defensive, hasn't really got much of the choice, but it's Hammer Time already ahead. Maranello ducking in for the slipstream, try and stay close. May even be able to attack back. It's Hammer Time's got DRS down here, but he'll just pull Maranello along with him. So they're going to hold position for a moment, but I tell you what, Ray, I reckon the pit lane's going to be getting very, very busy soon. So
Mulrane's in.
Looks, I reckon he possibly going for an undercut.
Either Millstar or no, it's Twitchality's in as well.
Yep, Millstar has continued on. Twist Royalty has pitted, as Ray mentions, with Mulrine ahead of him. Prime tyres on for them. They're now going to get dropped down as Mulrine and his Mercedes. We've got the pit lane glitch back, which is a really frustrating glitch on F1 2015. You see a car coming out of the pits, and then he goes for another go. The Twist Royalty's just come out of the pits next to Millstar. A little bit of contact, and off they go. You've got to be careful through these corners, guys. But
6 and 7th battling Azamot and Tyler, sorry for the interruption there.
That's alright. Azamot, it looks like Tyler's going for the move up the inside. I mentioned earlier it's not one you really want to go for there. Azam may have just chopped him off a little bit. You've got to be careful. Oh, Tyler's chucking up the inside to the hairpin, but Azza knows he's now going to get the DRS, or at least he should do. Cross the line second. He's not even bothering going for the slipstream. Wing will be open now, but that McLaren's... Oh no, Tyler's been given the DRS.
Yeah.
That's not quite right. He was ahead.
There's a little bit of lags. I don't know if that's came into effect for that DRS there. There's just a very little bit you could see.
It might do. Lefty hardtail, he's pitted, coming out of the pits now, but he's probably going to disappear and go back to the pits and come out again, unless he's already done that. No, he's come out right in the middle of this battle. Mulrine, I tell you what, I think Mulrine's jumped him. He has. Mulrine pitting that lap earlier has jumped him through the stops, even though Mulrine came out in the traffic, but Lefty's come out in the traffic as well. Well, not all of the drivers, but we've got about 8 of the drivers here, all in a line. Some of them, though, have not pitted yet.
There's both flags going in front of Drew, or is it for Drew, or F1 Roadrunner?
Well, F1 Roadrunner is showing in 5th place at the moment, going very, very slow. I think the blue flags, it could be because if Millstar is in this battle, he was showing as being a lap ahead, then I think being a lap down. So it's showing blue flags potentially for that. We have had it in a race previously. There's definitely a bit of lag going on, but I wouldn't worry about it too much, Ray. What's more important is how the drivers are going to conduct themselves on the circuit. See, because Millstar, he is right in the middle of this pack of cars, right? So he's showing as being in 3rd place. So whether it's right or wrong, the blue flags will be showing for that. So that's why there's a lot of blue flags going about. So it's something where at the moment the drivers just need to ignore it to a degree and just carry on with the race. We can see that there's something not quite right there. It's not a league race, it's not too much of an issue.
Now, Roadrunner's gone, I think.
He has. Now, RMS Maranello and It's Hammer Time, I believe they have both pitted already, because RMS Maranello is on the prime tyre and It's Hammer Time is right next to him. So those guys are still battling it out. Then we've got Drew in third place, who I think still hasn't pitted. So he's running the option tyres, going very, very long. Then he's got Mulrine, Lefty Hardtail, Azamore, Twist Royalty, Stringy B, John Rhinos, all chasing him down towards the final corners. And Drew is still continuing on.
Hybrid Nuke, what a nasty person. I think Friday should be hardest. Full damage, wet weather, Monaco and Singapore every week.
And that's why
nasty.
Hybrid Nuke, you're not an admin.
And I thought I was the evil Scotsman.
Okay, Drew's coming under a lot of pressure now from Mulrine. Mulrine's really wanting to try and get past as early as he can. I'm fairly sure that Drew has not pitted yet. His tyres must be absolutely suffering at this point. Mulrine on the primes is all over the back of him. May even be able to get a move done into turns 8 and 9. No, he's gaining. Drew's going defensive, but it's causing him to lock up his tyres, punishing them even more. If Mulrine can get past, then Drew may just hold up the cars behind him a little bit more. Drew's going deep. He's gone very, very deep. That's freed up Mulrine. That means he'll get DRS, but so will Lefty Hardtail, quite possibly. Oh, and I tell you what, Twist Royalty and Millstar right in the thick of things here, with Azamore following them. Drew managed to get back on track ahead of them. He's into the pits as we get a bit more lag going on around Twist Royalty and Millstar. Well, one of the things that so Azamore's probably gone long on that set of prime tyres if he started on those then, or a few of the guys found out a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago now, was that if one driver has got very, very bad connection, from a visual aspect, it can make other cars that are near them look like they are lagging as well. So it is very, very important for drivers that are wanting to join the leagues that their connection is strong enough to do so. I mean, I've had the conversation or mentioned it a few times with different people. If your connection isn't the strongest, don't sit there with your mobile phone on the Wi-Fi watching the live stream while somebody else is in the house on the internet as well, and then blame Codemasters or us for a laggy lobby. I mean, it's simple physics, really. A pie may be able to feed 5 people quite well, but it ain't going to feed 100. No. Well, the thing is, I mean, it kind of works like that, right? If you've got 10 meg internet and the only thing on the internet is your PS4, then effectively you'll get 10 meg internet. If you're on Wi-Fi on it, though, it's unpredictable. If you're hardwired, it's a much more stable connection. But if you've got 10 meg internet and there's 2 people on that internet with you on your PS4 on Wi-Fi, them on a laptop watching something on YouTube, then you're only going to be getting at most 5 meg. And you're on Wi-Fi, so it's unpredictable, it's unreliable. If you're hardwired, you'll still only get about 5 meg, but it will be that bit more stable. But if you're on 10 meg internet and you live in a house with all of your family, there's 6 of you, you got mum and dad, they're on their smartphones, you got brothers and sisters all watching different things on the internet, and you're on 10 meg, then you're going to be lucky if you get 2. And if you're on Wi-Fi, you're going to be lucky if you get 0.2. So you have got to try and make sure that your internet connection is good enough to be able to cope with it.
And feed your hamster more.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Okay, RMS Maranello, and it's hammer time. Still lying astern up at the front. Those two having a nice little battle.
I think hammer time's just following him. I think he's going to wait to pounce.
Okay, Millstar is now showing as being in 5th place, so somebody in his house has probably just flicked off their own smartphone, which has put him back as showing in 5th place now. Got Twist Royalty all over the back of him though. Oh, Twist Royalty's got a bit wide, clips the wall of rookies. And manages to keep going though, because he's not damaged his vehicle. Now, RDB should now be on the option tyres, and he is, so should see some fast lap times from him over the last couple of laps. in 8th place at the moment. Not sure if he's going to be able to catch up 7th. Azamor, who pitted recently, just ahead of Drew. And Drew's wiggling all over the place at the moment. Asa looking a little bit more stable in that Williams there. Now, how is John Rhinos getting on? Excuse me, in 11th place, back on the option tyres. So hopefully he can have a nice strong run to the end. Now for John, I know in the early rounds of the season, or the later rounds of last season, he was struggling a lot for lap times, finding himself a lap or so down. So for being on the lead lap, only 48 seconds behind at the moment, it's improvements, and that's all these guys can really hope for. Making continuous improvements from week to week. Now, who are you watching then, Ray?
I'm just watching the front two. I'm just Hammer Time. He's just holding back at the moment.
Do you reckon
he's had DRS and that, and he's just. It looks as if he's just holding back, waiting. Like, I can get you at this certain point.
He's going for it now. Manages to get the move done, but he's gone wide. He's gone wide. Had to avoid the wall of champions. He's still going to have DRS, but RMS Maranello manages to just about stay ahead. Okay, they've got 2 laps to complete. This one more, and it's Hammer Time's looking a little bit more feisty now. So he may have been following for a couple of laps, perhaps trying to see if there was anywhere else he could overtake. But this is one of those circuits where really you want to overtake down into either the final chicane or the first corner. Use the rest of the lap to break the DRS, and then you can begin to pull away. But if the car you've overtaken has got a driver that's just as quick as you are, it's not easy to pull away that DRS and break that DRS gap, giving yourself the opportunity to run away.
Yeah, once you get that slipstream, you can just hang in behind them.
It's Hammer Time taking a slightly wider entry into the hairpin again, trying to benefit on that exit. He's up close. He'll have a good run at making the move on this occasion. Maranello going very defensive.
I'd have tucked in a wee bit more, but he's got it done at the moment. Touch area wood there.
But if it's Hammer Time is still ahead when they get to the hairpin, it's going to give Maranello half a chance to make that move on the final lap of the race, and that is something that the drivers do have to kind of think about. But he's already thinking about going for it, but backs out of it. It's something that the drivers do really have to kind of think about, because there's no point overtaking the guy before the hairpin for him to then just breeze past you before the start finish line. See, at this point now, you kind of do have to think, okay, can I have him on that final run towards the finish line? And the thing is that...
I just want to get... Sorry. Carry on.
No, go on.
You just want to get close enough so you can smell his aftershave
and hope it's not horrible aftershave. He's got a good run on him here. Maranello may just be able to get this move done, but it's Hammer Time. Has shown he's quick in a straight line. Is he going to make Maranello go for the inside line? He is. Side by side then into the final corner. Maranello just ahead. Manages to get through. His DRS will be open again. It's Hammer Time's closing the gap a little bit, but not enough. And across the line they will go. Those two have had an absolutely fantastic race there. Azamor and Drew still fighting it out. Azamor on the option tyre, Drew on the primes.
Left the hardtails in 4th and Mulrine in 3rd, coming down the back straight. Left the hardtail wasn't gaining much on him. I don't know if he was close enough for DRS. Oh, disqualifying for the race at the last lap.
Yep. It's close between Mulrine and Lefty, but Mulrine manages to just stay ahead. Millstar's going to cross the line in 6th place. So, I tell you what, 7th and 8th there, close as well. RDB, can he get it done? Oh, it's close, but no, he can't. Stringy B looks like he's taken the 7th place there. Azamor in 9th. John Rhinos in 10th. Now, I said that someone will get disqualified. We were all right. Now, I think he's just cruising it to the finish line. A very difficult session, that, especially at the start with quite a few drivers lagging about a bit. I think RMS Maranello and It's Hammer Time have kind of shown everybody else there what sort of pace they have got. I do know that It's Hammer Time has struggled with connection a little bit of late, but throughout that race it got better and better. So if he was watching the live stream and he heard us say turn it off, it showed.
And Tyler get disqualified.
Tyler got disqualified, so there was 2 of them then. We said it would happen. It's part of what happens in the FRR-idays. And if we look at the result there, there are quite a few penalties there. And to be honest, it doesn't surprise me. Now, some people will look and go, oh my God, that's disgraceful. But I do know that there are a few leagues out there where none of the drivers would have perhaps got to the end of that race. So, a little bit of a sign there, though, to the Formula Racing World Championship and World Series drivers. You're going to have to make sure you are keeping it on the road, which, to be fair, is what the league has been sort of pushing them towards for the last few seasons. Now, I would go and have a look at the race.
Marussia. Guys, they never got a penalty, they were going too slow.
Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, no penalties for us too. Yeah, no penalties for us too. I wouldn't have expected us to have penalties even if we were racing, Ray. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'll end up getting disqualified on Wednesday. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one for the guys there. I mean, even those guys up at the front, they've had a few penalties. And it's one of those things, I mean, we don't do any additional stewarding or anything like that on the FRR-idays events. Because this is the feeder series. It's where the drivers can come and race. The settings are the same as the World Championship or World Series, except for the assists are allowed on here and damage is off. So it's set to strict track limits. And the drivers have got to get used to that, because the last thing that they would want, we would want as a league, or a league driver would want, is to pick someone as their reserve driver and then they get disqualified for being off the track too much. So, interesting one, that. Very interesting one.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot more practice for the guys for the kind of tracks that have got that. Oh, look at this corner. Come over this way a wee bit more. Keep coming.
Penalty.
That inviting.
Yeah, I mean, Montreal is one of those tracks where, I mean, everyone knows it. People tend to take a bit too much curb. You're not going to be able to do that. And that's how it should be. I mean, I remember the days of when Senna and Mansell were racing. They couldn't go driving off the track because the curbs were about 1.5 feet high. So, yeah. But anyway, right. I'm not sure exactly what the time is at the moment, Ray, but obviously we've got to get
past.
25 past. Okay, so we've got to get ready for the next event on the FRR Racing YouTube channel, which is the Project Cars PCF race in the LMP2s. That's at 9 o'clock this evening, live on the FRR Racing YouTube channel, and that is going to be around Spa. And that's another track that, when it comes to racing around there in the F1 cars, the drivers again are going to have to be careful. Turn 1, bottom of Eau Rouge, top of Eau Rouge, Pouon, quite a few corners around there where they're going to have to make sure they're keeping it on the road. But I would say well done to RMS Maranello and It's Hammer Time, really showing that they've got a little bit of something extra on a few of the other guys here. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on over the next few weeks. Right, we'll bring this to an end then. So as I said, next on the FRR Racing YouTube channel is the PCF tonight at 9 o'clock. And if anyone is interested in getting involved in the F1 leagues in Front Row Racing, find the Front Row Racing Facebook page. It's the one with the picture of the Silverstone wing. Send us a message and we'll get you an invite in. It is first in, first served as regards when the invites get sent out. So anyway, I've been Front Row Racing DP. He's been Front Row Racing RI.
Thank you for watching.
And goodbye. We'll see you all again soon.